Yes, yeah, which is we have discussed quantitative structure and activity relationship. So we have discussed a lot on this and many things we have covered that what is the meaning of Hammett constant, that a particular constant which was devised by Hammett way back in 1934, and that is for especially he has considered this constant for a chemical reaction. So nowadays, this concept of Hammett constant is also applicable for any biological reaction. Biological reaction such that let us say it can be in between any drug molecule and the receptor or whatsoever it's showing the somehow biological activity. So Hammett constant is one of the that parameter. We also discuss another parameter which is Daft, which has been devised by another scientist whose name is Taft. So Taft has given this constant that is called as Taft's steric constant. So basically, this is one of the constant which has been devised by him, and that is also for the kind of determination of or comparison of rate constants of hydrolysis of certain esters. So on the screen we last time we understand the similar reactions for methyl esters such as methyl esters of some of the carboxylic acids, so they can undergo these kinds of hydrolysis in the presence of water and can form this carboxylic acid as well as the alcohol. So we have our concern is that if we go on increasing the size of the R group, the rate of the hydrolysis that also differs. Now the question is how the rate of the hydrolysis differ. If R is a very small molecule, let me tell you methanol, then the rate of hydrolysis will be faster. With ethanol, that with if this R is ethyl group, then this it will be very less. But if we have R is propyl, then further it will be rate of hydrolysis will be less, inferior in fact. But if R is tertiary butyl, then all of this among the comparison of this bulky group R, this rate of hydrolysis will be very less. So this we can identify by comparing the substituted ester with unsubstituted ester. Or in other words, we can compare the rate of hydrolysis of the bulky ester molecule to that of this rate constant for less bulky molecule. So this rate constants and their logarithm is called as staff steric constant defined as ES, where taking the logarithm of any fraction or any number will enable the conversion of that bigger molecule into the smaller one. Okay, so this is a Taft steric parameter which has been devised by him, and that represents the rate of hydrolysis of the parent ester. Now here the various rate determining constants for different substituents have been provided. So here you can see that for the hydrogen it is 0, for methyl it is minus 1.24, and for tertiary butyl it is minus 2.78. So it in fact it we have for all of these substituents we can observe that for tertiary butyl this Taft steric constant is highest, that is minus 2.78. Highest among, I mean to say, any kind of alkyl substituents. Or but the same case, if we consider phenyl, which is aromatic substance, so for aromatic substituents, phenyl, it is minus 3.82. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि as the bulkiness increases, Taft steric constant also increases. So this is a common effect, a common observation which we can rationalize with the Taft steric constant, such as which is symbolized in the form of Es. Fine. So this is a kind of steric effect we observe, that this is applicable to not only the organic chemical reaction such as hydrolysis of the ester, but the same is also applicable to a medicinal chemistry reaction which can be useful in medicinal chemistry. One of the example for this is organophosphorus. Now, these are the compounds which are used previously as acetylcholine esterase inhibitors, and they have shown that some of the effects in either in war gas or in acetylcholine esterase inhibitory activity. So these organophosphates, which are basically going to inhibit acetylcholinesterase by the serine enzyme of this serine amino acid of this enzyme. So this is a protein which is nothing but your acetylcholinesterase, because this acetylcholinesterase is generally a macromolecule which is made up of protein. Proteins are made up of amino acids, and one of the amino acid of this acetylcholinesterase is serine, which possess hydroxyl group. So this is one of the organophosphorus compounds that it will going to interact with hydroxyl group of serine and will form a covalent bond, and then it will show a kind of non-reversible kind of inhibition of acetylcholine esterase. Okay, so what is our logic of Taft-Stirring constant with the acetylcholine esterase inhibitory activity? This logic is devised in the terms of this equation. Y is equal to mx plus c, where this mx is nothing but the biological activity and Es can be the Taft-Stirring constant. Now, for biological activity, we are taking the inverse of concentration, which we discussed in one of our previous classes, that uh, this biological activity should be highest and the concentration of the compound that should be always lower. Because of this, it is much essential that whatsoever the compound we have, that should be potent. And potent तभी होता है जब उसका concentration कम होता है. Okay. Now, after that, I think we have also seen this log p in the last class. So, what is this log p? Now, log p is basically a kind of logarithmic ratio for the our compound with their solubility of a compound in n-octanol to divide it by that in water. Now, why we are taking n-octanol? The reason for them this is very just a minute. There is certain issues. Okay. So meanwhile, I shall try to tell to you. I will keep my discussion continue. That this log p, if generally we are calculating with the help of a substance named as n-octanol. Now, why we are taking n-octanol? So n-octanol is much necessary because it is going to mimic the biological membrane with it. It is going to mimic the biological membrane. Now, n-octanol in its structure is having 8 carbon long chain, and this long chain is attached with hydroxyl group. So because of this, this n-octanol will mimic our this structure, and if it is proposed that it should be higher as well. So in most of the discussion we have seen this, and that can be correlated with this biological activity of this compounds. Now, we have also seen how this log P is comparable with their biological activity. So that can be in the conversion activity. This is the equation that Y is equal to mx plus c, where our parameter is our basically log P, and constant x, Y is our log 1 upon c, the concentration, and these are 0.73 and 2.5 are slope and intercept respectively. Okay, the 2.5, that is sometimes also called as not only intercept, many a times it is called as a correction factor. So that is a correction factor to eliminate somehow kind of inaccuracy in our results. So here, this is another kind of comparison where activity of a compound is correlated with the serum binding. So, or log P is compared with the activity. So this is a kind of log 1 upon C, which is presented on y-axis. Log P is presented on x-axis. So these are the kinds of the coordinates where x and y coordinates are matches, and they have been presented on a straight line. So appears that as the log P increases, the activity also increases. That's why in this equation, you can see that if log P increases, this biological activity also increases, because biological activity and log P are having a positive relationship with each other. So plus 0.75 that indicates positive relationship between our two parameters of interest. Okay, then this is another kind of activity. This is more important. I want to emphasize this here, that you can see initially as we increase the log p, biological activity also increases, and this is the value where log p will be at a certain value of log p, activity will be maximum. So at optimum value of log p, this value is maximum, but after, even if we increase the log p, there is decrease in concern biological activity is observed as compared to the previous one. At highest value of log p, this biological activity is, I mean to say, lowest, or that biological activity is lost. So this kind of correlationship is not the linear one, that is a non-linear parabolic curve. So the equation for non-linear parabolic curve, that equation looks like this. Log 1 upon c is equal to minus 0.22 log p square plus 1.04 log p plus 2.16. So this is that equation. Now in this equation again, biological activity log 1 upon c is correlated with the activity log p. But there are two different terms in this equation. One term is minus 0.22 log p square. Other term is plus 1.04 log p. So what is the difference? The difference is one of the term is minus, other terminology is plus. Fine. So now what does it signifies? So इनका मतलब क्या है? How should we correlate it? In one of the value it is minus, in other value it is plus. This should be correlated like this. It want to say is that at certain value of log p, if we go on increasing log p, this biological activity log 1 upon c increases, increases, and at certain log p value, this biological activity is maximum. But this is this one of the part, I mean to say this part which is on right hand left hand side of this straight uh, at optimum value of log p, this right left hand side part which want to explain this term, which is explained by this term plus 1.05 log p, because here it is plus, so it indicates that as the log biological activity log p increases, biological activity, okay, because this term is positive, it indicates positive relationship between log p biological activity. But this log p square at this instance it is negative. Kitna negative hai? Minus 0.22. So here this minus 0.22 is further negative. So it indicates after certain point of time, if we go on increasing the value of log p, then biological activity decreases. And this is the square of log p. So what does it mean? The square mean that जितना हम log p में increase करेंगे, उतना double fold reduction will be observed in biological activity after certain value of this. That's why they have categorized that optimum value. Optimum value का मतलब ये होता है कि there should be a certain threshold, a limit, a kind of threshold. Moment to exceed the threshold, you will observe the drastic change in your results, right? So optimum value for log p for anesthetic activity is called log p. It has been mentioned over here as log p. तो ये समझ में आ रहा है ना? What is the meaning of this non-parabolic kind of curve, which is correlating the biological activity with log 1 upon c. Okay, so this we have covered in the last class, and molecular refractivity. From this slide onwards, we have to teach further. This is one of the parameter which is important for correlations. Actually, this is a kind of parameter which is applicable in Hans QSAR. We will also visit this parameter in one of the practical where using certain refractometer we will be able to calculate this refractive index labeled as eta. Actually, I can ये eta है जैसे alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and then so this is the factor eta, but in I cannot type here, so that's why it is mentioned only n, small n. So that is called index of the refraction, or sometimes it is also called as refractive index. Okay, so this is a molar refractivity, which is a kind of the measurement of the substituent's volume. So here this n square minus 1 divided by n square minus 2 into molecular weight and density of the substance that will allow us to calculate refractive index. Just like if we are calculating the refractive index of acetone, then we can put the molecular weight of acetone here, the density of this acetone, we can measure it with the help of specific gravity bottle. You might have performed some experience, you might have learned to how to perform some experience to calculate the density of a substance using a specific gravity bottle, or the same density is also mentioned on the commercially अवेलेबल बॉटल्स ऑफ एसीटोन. तो जो एसीटोन की जो कॉमर्शियली अवेलेबल बॉटल्स होती है उस पर लेबल होता है. On that label, the density of a particular substance, whether it is acetone, dichloromethane, hexane, ethyl acetate, and so on, so is mentioned. Okay, so this is the way that we can calculate molecular refractivity. In our coming, I think next practical we will perform for this, how to calculate the refractive index, molecular refractivity for a particular substance. So next is a concern of the Hans analysis. So these are the only we are till the time we learn three major parameters. Hammett substituent constant, which is electronic parameter. The second parameter is your Taft steric constant, which is a steric parameter, and the third parameter is your log P, which happens to be an hydrophobic or lipophilic parameter. Okay, so these are the major three parameters, and their individual discussion we have discussed in our some of the previous sessions. So I hope that this is the knowledge of the descriptors will be clear to all of you: the electronic parameter, the steric parameter, and the hydrophobic parameter. Now after this, another we have to learn, that is what so called Hans analysis. So in the year 1964, there were two gentlemen, Hans and his student Fujita. Full name of this scientist is Corwin Hans, and his student, maybe PhD student or co-worker, Fujita. So these are the two people. They have devised a kind of QSAR, which is called quantitative structure activity relationship, and they try to correlate the biological activity of the compound with three different parameters. Which are these three parameters? Electronic parameter, steric parameter, and hydrophobic parameter. So he has told that biological activity is directly proportional to, or biological activity is a function of, electronic parameter, steric parameter, and hydrophobic parameter. Plus, there can be certain correction factor, there can be certain constants. So that way we can correlate we can calculate the exact value of biological. So this is what his major concern, that biological activity is dependent upon the functional group, or dependent upon the electronic parameter, steric parameter, and hydrophobic parameter. So we have studied all these electronic parameters. One of the parameter is sigma, hydrophobic parameter such as log P, and steric parameter such as Taft steric. So this can be a kind of equation that log 1 upon C is equal to, this is already we have learned, K2 log plus K2 log P and minus K1 log P square. So it is a kind of parabolic equation. Plus K3 sigma, where K3 can be a constant. Sigma is basically a Taft-Sterick constant. Es is, sigma is Hammett constant and Es is Taft-Sterick constant. So in the Journal of American Chemical Society, these two gentlemen have proposed, first of all, this that biological activity of a compound can be correlated with their structural components, and these structural components can be electronic parameters, steric parameters, and hydrophobic parameters. So our concern is that what is the real, how to understand the Hans equation. So friends, this is the kind of graph which want to explain in another words that biological activity is not only of one man or one parameter job, or that is not of a concern of only one parameter. It can be a concern of this majorly three parameters. Hans has suggested that biological activity can be a part of physicochemical parameters. So, what is the meaning of physicochemical? So, it is a kind of combination. This co word is basically a combination of physical parameters and the chemical parameters, such as physical parameter, which can be we can calculate can categorize either as a physics state, or which deals with the state of a substance, such as whether it is liquid, solid, melting points, boiling points, flash points. So all these concerns with the nature of a substance, the state of the substance. Chemical parameters, whether it's electron donating, electron withdrawing, I mean to say electronic parameters, or steric parameters, whether it is bulky, non-bulky, etc. So this in nutshell, in a message, these two people have identified that biological activity can be a function of these three physicochemical properties: one steric, hydrophobic, and electronic. Okay, and one of they have also developed the Hans analysis, a kind of QSAR, and later on, not by them but maybe by some other fellows. And this is basically a kind of QSAR equation developed for adrenergic blockers, maybe this alpha blocker or beta blockers, and this is the kind of structural component. So this is the structure of a compound which is used for development of QSAR. I would like to re-emphasize that whenever we are developing this QSAR, then the functional groups which are present in the means the scaffold, chemical scaffold, which should be present in this structure, that should be common. We cannot derive the QSAR for different compounds whose structures are completely different. So in this case, QSAR will be a completely wrong solution. Now let me cite you how we should do this. Why we are keeping a structural integrity. For example, if I want to test the IQ of the PharmD third year students from LM College of Pharmacy, okay? So I have one set of 30 students. Most of them are mixed, either whether they are girl or a boy, right? So that way, maybe I will be able to judge better because these students have a common nature because they all are Gujaratis or maybe Indians, more categorically, and they stay either in Ahmedabad or they are aware about the situations of the Ahmedabad, stay near either by near or far by LMC. This way they are closer, and almost they have similar psychology of minds that they think uh, relatively close to each other. So their IQ will be in this intelligent quotient will be also maybe closer. So this subset is unique one because they are belongs to a common institute and same have common features. Okay. Now same kind of IQ I want to calculate with another data set, and this time let me choose the third year PharmD students from Team Pharmacy College, Surat. So now again there is a difference. Although syllabus is same, but earlier data set one is for LMCP, but data set two is for another college. Although they are studying the same syllabus, but teachers are different, and maybe there the thinking of LMCPians will be different from the this data set two. Okay, so this is second way. Third way, if I compare the third year PharmD students of MIT Institute of Technology or MIT, which is situated in USA, or Cambridge University of UK, or some Queen's University of New Zealand, so data sets are completely different. The 30 students of LMCPians, then 30 students of this King Pharmacy College, 30 students from Cambridge University, 30 students from, let me tell you, MIT, or another 30 students from Queen's University, New Zealand. So all are different data sets. So I should not ideally correlate the caliber of LMCPian with that of the fellow of New Zealand. Why? Because they are completely different. Although we are teaching them the same science, but the resources they are gaining, the atmosphere they are in which they are being encouraged to learn, that is different. So there will be many more errors I will get in my results. So it is suggest same thing is for QSR. Do you follow what is I mean to say by this different data sets by of studying the different students? दिशा समझ में आ रहा है? Is it understandable?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think it is clear. So similarly, जब भी हम QSR develop करते हैं, so it is suggested that scaffold should be same. Your data sets, the compounds which are present in data sets, they should have some unique features, right? And then we will be able to get the unique results of QSR. They say in this case, all the compounds are beta halo beta aryl amines. And they say this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. So beta carbon is halogen, and these are all other Y will represent the substituents which are present on benzene ring. So this is, I mean to say, beta halo and beta aryl amines. Okay, and here this is the equation. Log 1 upon C is equal to 1.22 pi minus 1.59 sigma plus 7.89. So friends, here the equation is that this is without, if you do not focus on the bottom lines, we can derive that bottom lines. We can understand the bottom lines, these two lines from this equation. Now, this pi, which happens to be a kind of a lipophilic constant or a hydrophobic constant, that is plus. So, and this biological activity is again plus. So that signifies that if pi increases, biological activity increases. This is a kind of relationship between the activity and the pi.Pi का मतलब होता है that is a kind of hydrophobic parameter. जैसे log p है, similarly it is pi. We can calculate theoretically it also. Sigma, which is our Hammett constant. But in this case, sigma is minus 1.59. What does it signify? It signifies that if sigma increases, biological activity, who will say whether it is increases or decreases? If my question is, if sigma increases, then biological activity बोलो increase ki decrease? Biological activity will decrease. Now why? Because this relationship is not positive. This relationship is negative. So that's why if sigma increases, biological activity decreases. If sigma, in some case, if it decreases, then biological activity increases. So this is relationship is not directly proportional, but it is inversely proportional. And this can be identified by minus. So what should we understand from this equation? That how to, okay, we understand that a plus pi is beneficial for our activity. Means we should increase hydrophobicity. But the question is, how should we increase the hydrophobicity? So this we can understand. If we want to increase the hydrophobicity, then we should incorporate more phenyl groups to our structure. So here there should be presence of phenyl groups as X and Y. If not phenyl, then it can be naphthalene, it can be anthracene, and so on. It can be pyridine also, because pyridine is also hydrophobic substituent. It can be triazole, it can be tetrazole, etc., etc. It can be naphthalene also. So this is the way to increase pi and sigma. So for this equation, sigma is minus. So definitely we should decrease. If we decrease the value of sigma, then activity should. So we are interested in potent compounds, not in inactive compounds. For active compound may say he, we can use them as API to manufacture a drug. Okay? So that's why we are more interested in a molecule which is having potent activity. But for this adrenergic blocker, the potent activity will be only if our sigma is negative. So how to reduce sigma? Follow. So that we can, if we go back to our Hammett constants, then we can identify that sigma then only will decrease if there are presence of electron donating groups. So for this equation, it suggests us that activity will increase if we add electron donating groups to our X and Y. Okay, so that this is the meaning of QSAR. We can derive such information from the QSAR and we can learn the same thing. Okay, so in your examinations, which you will have by the end of next month, or by the mid of the next month in September. So you may ask to note down, or you may ask to mention what is the meaning of this equation. Explain the QSR equation. So you need to explain what is log 1 upon C, that is a biological activity. Pi is a hydrophobic substance. Sigma is Hammett constant, where pi and biological activity both are in positive relationship with each other. Means biological, if pi increases, log 1 upon C also will increases. Then we can increase pi by incorporation of hydrophobic substituents such as benzene, naphthalene, phenanthine, anthracene, or pyridine, because all this represents a set of hydrophobic groups. Secondly, the sigma, which happens to be an Hammett constant, so that Hammett constant is in negative relationship with biological activity. So it signifies that if sigma decreases, then biological activity increases. We can increase sigma by incorporation of electron donating groups such as methyl, ethyl, and electron donating groups such as methyl, ethyl, or hydroxy, methoxy, amine, amino, dimethylamino, etc., etc. That way, you should hence explain your answer. Okay.
સર
Yes.
સર CH જોડે X નહીં આવે because કાર્બન વેલેન્સી પછી વધી જશે.
Yes, right. This is a mistake. So this is not a true, I mean to say. So I am back. Sorry for the interruption. This halogen should be present on here. So you have rightly identified. It is a mistake. I will correct this also. Fine. Or कुछ है doubt any other? Okay. So now let us start with this that log of another kind of the alkaloids and their activity is given. So here the equation is for the Hans analysis equation is that so log 1 upon C is equal to minus 0.15 logs P square plus 0.14 log B plus and so and other parameters. Okay. So what is this parameter want to highlight? This parameter again want to highlight that at certain value of log p, the value will be maximum. But after that, if we increase the log p, then activity will decrease with double fold reduction. Decrease with double fold or double fold reduction will be observed. And that will be a kind of parabolic equation. So जैसे उन्होंने mention किया in this equation, they have mentioned pi x, pi y, and sigma x and sigma y. So what is this pi x and pi y? Basically, this is a phenanthrene alkaloids which possess the phenanthrene ring. ये जो है इस तरह से naphthalene की ring के साथ एक और ring benzene ring is attached, that is this, and this is phenanthrene ring which possess two substituents x and y. So friends, this x and y, which represents electronic parameter sigma x, sigma y, and they will have also some amount of hydrophobic parameter such as sigma pi x and pi y. So in another words, these both the terms pi x, pi y, sigma x, sigma y, all these terms are in positive relationship with log 1 upon c. तो उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि if we increase electron withdrawing groups and if we increase hydrophobic substituents, activity will increase. Okay, so this is the meaning of that substitute. So I hope that you are able to understand what is the impact of biological activity and the pi as well as sigma. Mostly we have to see now what is their relationship, plus or minus. If it is plus, then one parameter increases, other parameter will also increase. If it is minus, then one parameter will increase, other parameter will decrease. That relationship we have to understand. Okay. So these are the different other substituents which are applicable for different uh, I mean say to for pi and molecular refractivity, and their values have been given. Okay. So we will not go into the depth of this, but this is a just आपको actually whenever I am teaching whenever I am teaching these different substituents, the same PPT I used to carry out with post graduation class. So it is the same, but for the sake of your knowledge, you have to remember. जैसे आपके when you have learned the mathematics, so there will be a kind of certain plus a kind of quadrant charts. So this is the similar kinds of the charts, which is divided in plus total 4 portions. So these portions are this is plus plus and this is plus minus, this is minus and this quadrant is minus and plus. We have not go to into depth, but just we will remember that Craig plot is looking like this, which is on your screen, and that is useful for different functional groups that to correlate their sigma and their pi. Okay, so depending upon these all needs, we can devise, we can select the functional groups. Craig plot is helpful to correlate the sigma with pi. Now, how they are correlated, that is not of our interest because that is a kind of more depth of the subject. Okay. Another kind of concept that is called as top list scheme. Now this top list scheme, as you can see on the charts, also we will not go into the depth of this, but again this will also help us to select our substituents depending upon our observations to reach to maximum activity. So it is mentioned already that it is useful to decide which substituents can give us better activity. Okay, this आपका algorithm होता है. So how it is this? So this how you are aware about the algorithms. You, I think Professor Bharadia have also asked you to make a certain algorithm, how to define, how to make a tablet. So similarly, when I was in school, so we have been taught these algorithms, and they used to give common examples. I do not know the same example is to taught to you, but if not taught, then we can also, for the sake of simplicity, we can learn it as well. Just like a simple algorithm, you may be asked that you can how to prepare a tea. Okay, so first question is, if you want to make a tea, do you have gas? So then can be two answers, yes or no. So if it is yes, then you can work. If it is no, then go to the market and bring the gas and stove and then work. Then there can be second question. And do you have tea granules? Answer is yes, then you can work. If no, then go to the Amul dairy or Amul parlor and bring the whatever the drink or whatever the milk you want to use for making a tea. Third question, likewise similarly, we can work. So we can carry out our answers into yes and no and then create the algorithms. So this is similarly kind of that. If we have hydrogen, we will replace that hydrogen with 4-chlorine. If the activity increases, then you go in this direction, activity is more. If activity is same as the chlorine and hydrogen, then you prefer this. If activity is inferior, by replacing hydrogen with 4-chlorine, so you go in direction. So it is all the kinds of algorithms and the charts. So we will not go into the depth of this, but just we will remember the top list scheme is a kind of algorithmic charts likewise this. So it will enable us to reach to the uh, to select the functional groups depending upon the substitutes. Okay. So we will not go into the depth of this because these are not of our interest. So this is basically for Hans equation. It is called Hans QSAR. And the last most thing which I want to discuss in this unit, that is called free Wilson approach. So friends, there were two persons. One of the person is free and Wilson is another gentleman. So there are two separate men in this approach, and they have devised this approach is called free Wilson approach. Okay, now in a layman language, in a most simple language, let me explain what is free Wilson approach. Okay, so what Hans and Fujita has done, just like if we want to make a basketball team, then if I'm a coach of that team, and if I select only three parameters with the height of the player, and for that the same basketball team, the strong limbs, upper limbs as well as lower limbs, and as well as the spirit of the sportsmanship spirit of the player. So if I calculate these three parameters, definitely these are good parameters. They are reliable parameters. Height of the person, क्योंकि जितना height होगा तो वो basketball के वो rack तक पहुंच पाएगा. Then strong limbs, कि हाँ उसके बाहु में दम है, बॉडी बिल्डिंग जैसा है या फिर enough stamina है उसमें, then definitely he or she will be a good basketball player. The third parameter is that this sportsmanship. Yes, I want to play. I want to make my team win. जब तक मैं टीम में हूँ, मैं खिलाड़ी हूँ, तो मेरी टीम जीतनी ही चाहिए, हारनी नहीं चाहिए. So that kind of sportsmanship is also with that gentleman or woman, right? So these are the three parameters if I considered. Then what about the other parameters? Likewise, the person is not having enough stamina. Let us say वो 3 मैच खेलता है और चौथे मैच में वो इंजर हो जाता है, फिर 3 मैच का ब्रेक लेता है और पांचवी मैच में वापस 1 मैच का ब्रेक लेता है और पांचवी मैच खेलते खेलते इंजर्ड हो जाता है. Should I consider that also? Point is yes, I should. So I should not rely only these three parameters. I mean to say height, strong lips, and sportsmanship, right? Because the person should have enough stamina to play for longer number or more number of matches. Okay, so this I should also consider. And there can be other also, that he should be enough loyal to his team. जैसे नेशनल लेवल का टीम नेशनल लेवल की चैंपियनशिप है, एंड द पर्सन हैज फिक्स द मैच by in coming in contact with some bookies, और अपने बैंक अकाउंट में बहुत सारे पैसा ले लिया है, और he is decided that I want to be a richer person, I don't want to play whatever I have to play that I have played in my life. Now I want to be a richer person, I will sell my country. So that type kind of psychology is poor psychology. So I should also consider that whether him or her, he or her, she is loyal to his team. Are they loyal, or he or she is loyal to the country? So that I should also consider, right? So there can be many more parameters other than these three. So this concept is as good as can be correlated with free Wilson approach. Then Hans and Fujita have only considered three parameters: hydrophobic, steric, and electronic. So these three parameters they have considered. But we know now there can be many more parameters, such as toxicity. So have we considered toxicity of the molecule while deriving the activity? Answer is no. Then can be other fifth parameter, that number of hydrogen bond donors, number of hydrogen bond acceptors. There can be certain parameters such as energy of highest occupied, unoccupied, or highest occupied molecular orbital, or it can be the energy, or it can be the gyromagnetic ratio. So have we considered this? So Free and Wilson were the first two persons who asked these questions by after Hans and Fujita's model. So they have considered that why are we restricting these three parameters? I cannot be consider all the parameters. Will develop our QSAR. They that's why they have considered the maximum number of parameters. जो भी पैरामीटर है, कोई पैरामीटर 1% कंट्रीब्यूशन देता होगा, और कोई पैरामीटर 90% कंट्रीब्यूशन देता होगा फॉर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डेटा सेट्स. So they have considered this. They not only restricted their thinking for only three parameters, but they have restricted this thinking, or they allow with broad thinking. In research we should have broad thinking, broad philosophy. So they have also considered the same thing and have developed this kinds of QSAR. So this can be correlated with activity K1x1, K2x2, KNX plus up to KNXN plus Z. So where Z is a constant and N can be the number of different, can be infinite number of parameters. Okay, so this is, and there are certain advantages and disadvantages. So if you can want to read this, you can read, but let me explain you in simple way this advantages whatever, so that you can remember also. Now if you want, there are advantages that you are considering more than three parameters, so definitely you will reach to the maximum level of, I mean to say, perfection. So that's why your this free Wilson approach, free Wilson model is the ideal one, क्योंकि उसमें तीन नहीं 300 पैरामीटर कंसिडर किए गए. That's why it is ideal, it is useful, it is perfect. Okay, it will more give us more positive results, right? But the disadvantage is that, okay, what is the disadvantage? For example, if I have to teach you only 30 people of you, a good teacher, and perhaps I am will be one of the best teacher. But if I have to teach 30 million students on the earth, then how I will be able to do this? How I will be able to answer each and every one? How I will be able to meet all students' queries, and how I will be able to solve? Do I have that time to interact with you? The answer will come no. So this is the limitation, that as the large number of analogs are there, so that's why there is a difficulty to rationalize what is good, what is bad. And the different substituents in certain cases, that may be variable. So this is the limitations as well as the advantage of the same. Just like each and every coin, there have two sides, heads and tail. Similarly, free Wilson approach has also certain advantages and certain limitations. So these are the limitations or the advantages of the same. Okay, now we will not go into other depth of this because we will restrict ourselves. This is up to in your syllabus at what you should learn from this. Okay, so here we will restrict and will end your unit. This is और जितना आपको मैंने cover किया है, that will be the part of your syllabus. And uh, with uh, so this is the end for today's class. So is there any other question for you